All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. Hold on, he's late as usual, but hold on, let me let him in. Okay, we got everyone here. So good morning. We got Jack Stewart and Ike Hobbs this morning.
Going on.
Morning.
Hold on, let me go live on Instagram here. All right, we are live everywhere. All right, good morning, fellas. And if anyone is here tuning in, can you do me a favor? And I put some links in the comments. Can you click on them and see if they work? Because the last time I did a live, people were saying that the links do not take you anywhere. So if you are here, please click on the links and just see if it takes. One is to Jack's YouTube channel, and one is to the PayPal link to buy this awesome shirt. Frank, old guy REI, is selling the ORAT one rental at a time shirt to raise money for the Blind Center. But yeah, please let me know if they work. But yeah, so morning, fellas, and I don't know where Ike went. He disappeared. Okay, but Jack, this was kind of your topic. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for letting me know. I'm not sure what happened last time then. Um, or you know what? I'm gonna try and put one in there now that we started. Maybe that makes a difference. But hold on, chat. What, Ike? What are you doing, man?
I tried to get it to go landscape mode and it kicked me out. So
Oh my
I guess
god!
I'll be the
Well,
weird one.
if you show up on time, then you can set all of this up ahead of time. But thanks for joining us, man. But yeah, Jack, this is kind of your topic you brought to the forefront. I guess maybe talking about letting go of friends, or maybe kind of like Frank's shirt says, find your tribe, right? So you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Um, for me, it wasn't overly too hard. I mean, some of them moved away, others I lost connection with. Uh, and the other ones were just kind of bringing me down. You're not going to move further ahead in life if you're spending times or your time in the bar or being distracted by doing things that aren't productive. I was actually starting to do investing the last year I really hung out with them, but it was just so unproductive to hang out with them. So basically, I kind of got to the point where I cut my losses with them. Yeah, we had good times and stuff. I don't regret it, but just different phases of we were just all each in our different phase of life, and I had to go out and find people that I more meshed with it, even if it's not so much in real estate in the sense, but just in work drive and driving towards something you're working for. And I found that, and with the Facebook group, that's where I met that's where I met Mark and Mikey, and then that went led into the school community group, and then hundreds of other people.
Cool. Yeah. Now you met Ike. I don't know if Ike, are you going to Vegas? No, you're not sure, right?
Not sure yet. So
Not sure. Okay. Well, we'll all get to meet someday. But I know, like, maybe you have maybe the kind of the same thoughts as me too, because being in the fire service, you kind of build a bond there too, right? So, and I feel like that's the struggle that I have as far as my past, or some friendships, as far as people that may not have the same visions of me outside of the firehouse, right? So, kind of, what's your thoughts on this?
yeah, I mean it's an interesting topic for me because I've I spent like most of my 20s working on some stuff and not really building friendships. And in some ways, I think that was fine. I don't have like a lot of regrets from that. But at the same time, like there is an aspect over the past couple of years where I've tried to like take a step back and still, find people that, are doing things different than me and involved in other careers or other interests that can help round me out. So it's kind of a catch 22 because I don't really like being around people that go and drink all the time and party all the time and then are broke all the time. Versus I'm also not at the level of like, hey, I've got money, I've got a lot of free time to hang out with other people either. So it's a definitely something that I'm still working through.
Well, we're definitely gonna need you to increase your cash flow to buy a new mic because your mic is horrible.
Is it?
No, but there's some sort of echoing, but you're fine. But Trade Better 99, who apparently is watching from Jack's channel, says you should go to Vegas. Just say yes. But
Okay.
I think a lot of people are looking for Vegas, and I just want to throw this out there real quick to see if it works. But I just want to remind people that the Bears are 1-0 in 2025, and the Packers are 0-2. So I just wanted to throw that out there for everyone and working on my skills of showing different things on the screen. But yeah, that is definitely the struggle for me. Being in the firehouse for like 17 years, and you have this bond that you've built with a lot of different people, and I always talk about. I mean, I love these guys. I mean, they're like family to me. It's just at some point, you gotta find that time to kind of, like you said, right? Separate what your goals or what your visions are, and I don't want to live a frugal lifestyle, I guess, when I retire, right? And I see a lot of guys. The pension is great, the retirement is great. It's just, a lot of times you're living a frugal lifestyle in a sense, right? You're kind of on a budget, right? And I guess that's not my goal or vision anymore. It's so Jack, for you, like, I mean, what is your kind of retirement like without real estate or without, I mean, like, do you have a pension? Do you have 401ks? I mean, what is your retirement plans look like if you're not doing this real estate stuff?
Ramen noodles.
All right, we'll move on then. No, no, but I
Yeah,
mean,
there's just a 401k. I have a Roth IRA, and but I had some stocks and stuff. I sold them to buy the fourplex this past year. Besides that, like they're just nothing. Like there's really just nothing. Um, I heard the other day, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I guess if you work at the company where I'm at for 35 years or something, I guess they help pay for your health insurance for life. But I don't know how true that is because I thought they did away with that, and now I heard that it's back.
well, that's definitely, like the health insurance medical part is in the firehouse. I'm not sure what Ike's retirement, what their contract is, but like for me, when I do retire, if I do hit the 25 years, I would get free medical coverage for life for myself. Previously, guys that got on the department before me, them and the spouse had free medical. But the newer guys coming in, they don't have that benefit anymore. So as you can see, the pension, the retirement plans keep changing. And a lot of it is to, keep people working longer in a sense. So guys aren't getting the same benefits, and they have to work longer. And hey, Andy Dickens from school is here. Good morning. Throwing snowballs from Ohio. Yes, I'm sure it's cold. I'm sure Jack can attest to that. But yeah, Trade Better says, I agree with you guys. Have really kept me on the path of growth. I'm still waiting for Trade Better Harrison's YouTube video, which apparently he posted on the wrong YouTube account. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But for you, Ike, I mean, is that ever a factor into, do you talk to the older guys in the department as far as maybe like what their retirement is and has it changed? And is that also kind of why maybe you're doing this real estate?
Yeah, fire. I'm a little different because like I got into the fire department at a somewhat older age. Where I'm at right now, I was 29 when I started. So for me to make the 30 years that most of the guys trying to get to, like I don't see that happening. So I kind of have a different view on that. But there's a lot of guys that talk about it quite often. And yeah, we don't have the healthcare covered once we retire. You have to be in 15 years, I think it is, to get the pension. So I enjoy the job. I like doing it. I would like to be here in the next few years at a point where I can decide to go in or decide not to. So that's a little bit different than a lot of the guys I work with, where they're just trying to stay there, get the retirement, and then go work a part-time job or or something. So it
Yeah.
it's a
So
different
I
mindset for sure.
yeah, I see Fire on Fire Investing joining from Instagram. So you should go check out Ike on X. He's a firefighter. Where are you located again?
Wichita, Kansas.
That's right. And I think Fire on Fire is in Colorado or Denver somewhere. So you
Okay,
guys should connect. Yeah. But
that'd be cool.
yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with you. So we actually I don't want to use names because I tease the guys at my firehouse that I mention them and they get all pissed. But anyways, there's one guy who has hit his retirement, I guess his age, years of service, and he's sticking around, and it's almost as if he's not really working. He could retire today and basically make the same amount of money with his pension. So he is working one shift a month overtime. So basically he's working, 11 to 12 days a month for an extra $1,000 a month, roughly. I mean, if that's how you kind of want to look at it, right? So it's kind of, you know, like you're saying, right? You don't want to retire to a frugal state or worried about money, right? So he's working longer just to make roughly $1,000 more a month, and where he could retire and be bringing home the same amount without even working almost in a sense, right? So I think that's the thing where the mindset shift and everything is super important. And part of it though is you kind of get caught up in this past. So it's awesome that you're thinking about this early in your career, right? I think a lot of guys they get so caught up in the pension that by the time they hit 15 years in a department, their retirement is almost based around their fire career, right? So they can't really pivot in a sense, or they're working towards their high three or how much overtime they work. But the fact that you already have this vision of I may get out early, it just gives you more options, right?
Yeah, and part of that goes back to when we're talking about friendships to purpose. Like, there's a guy I know. He's been on a long time. He's not quite maxed out on the retirement, but he's really close. But when he retires, I don't know what he's going to do, because when he goes on vacations and things like that, like, he doesn't have anybody besides the fire department type thing. And so when we're talking about like friendships and relationships and purpose and all that, that's something else that I'm striving to do. Is like, I like the guys at the firehouse. I like the common interests we have, and it's fun to go in every day and work with them. But at the same time, like, 30 years from now, there's it's all going to be spread out. So do I have the same purpose then, or is it going to be like, hey, if I retire, I no longer have a purpose in my life? And as you know, a lot of guys, when they retire from our service, they die pretty quickly. And I think part of that is because they stop having a reason to wake up in the morning, and that's not a trap I want to fall into either.
Yeah, totally. I don't know if I ever talked about it, but there was this he was on rescue for a long time, and it was almost his identity, and he retired, and I believe he went into like a depression. He had a difficult time, um, you know, basically, like you're saying, right? You wake up, you have this routine, you drink your coffee, you read the newspaper with the fellas, and it's kind of like that's your identity. And he struggled with that for years. I used to run into him at the gym, and he was just like, yeah, like he just had a difficult time. And then he found some others. He coaches. He was a big swimmer,
Okay.
competitive swimmer, and he got into like coaching, high school coaching swim team, so that kind of was his outlet. But definitely, I mean, we kind of talk about it, right? Retire to something, right? And kind of have something to do and have some sort of vision. And Jack, I know you were gonna kind of say something before we kind of moved on a little bit.
Oh, I was just curious because I'm not overly familiar with pensions, but the person you're talking about is still picking up overtime and stuff and working. Does he get extra towards his pension, or is it just he's put in his time, he's capped out, and that's really it?
uh, so it comes down to his high 3 years of salary. So if his overtimes that he's doing right now aren't really bumping up his high 3 years, it's not going to factor too much. Whereas, let's just say his average 3 years is 100K for even numbers, right? It's 100K per year. And now he's doing overtime, let's say this year, so it's, roughly another 10K, let's say. So 1 year, 110K would replace one of the 100K high 3 years. And now, so it would bump up slightly, and then he gets roughly whatever, let's say 2.5% per years of service. So let's say he's at roughly 62% of his pension, right? So it does factor slightly, right? But at the same time, it's like you're saying, right, you're working another year to almost make the same amount of money, in a sense, right, where he could retire, making the same amount per his pension. And if he did other things in place, like Ike was talking about, traveling and doing things like that, right? But now Frank is saying the links don't work. Hold on, Frank. But hold on, maybe one of you can touch on this while I put a link.
Yeah, I don't know how it is at your department. I know everyone's just slightly different, but ours, I think you'd cap out at 33 and a half years. Like, there's no benefit at all towards your pension by going further. But when you're doing that average of the last 3 years or whatever, then you can't really take a lot of time off, because then it has a huge effect on your pension, um, because you're not collecting that overtime, you're not collecting the extra payment, so it hurts your average. So it could kind of trap you in there if that's the only thing you've got going. But on the other side, the guy I was talking about earlier, like, he's got a good retirement, and I know he's, because he talks about it quite a bit, he's got a decent amount saved up, but he just can't. I think it's the next step that he's like, I don't want to deal with right now. So he keeps pushing it off, and I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be trapped in myself in 30 years.
All right, we're going to be donating. We're going to be doing giveaways for mics on the next live. I'm going to have
Feel
to.
bad.
No, I don't know if it's your internet or your mic. Yeah, Dennis, Frank, I don't know. The links do work for me also, so maybe it's you, Frank. But I want to say hi, Cynthia. Cynthia is stopping by from X, so I just want to let her know that I saw her, and thanks for the support. And yeah, Ike is trying to figure some stuff out, and hopefully Ike, Jack's fan pops in. Somebody was asking where the potato hat wearing funny guy was on the last live. So hopefully he shows up today. I think he usually stops by from LinkedIn. So maybe he'll pop in. Maybe he saw your picture. So maybe he'll tune in. Um, mm, maybe it's the phone thing. Okay, thanks, fellas. Thanks for checking for me. You know why? Because I know Frank doesn't have an iPhone. Maybe that's why. Um, but Jack, yeah, what about you, man? I mean, what about as far as like you're saying? I mean, I know you kind of touch on it on your channel sometimes about maybe I don't know if I'm putting it the right way, but maybe you didn't have a lot of close friends before heading down this kind of financial freedom path or real estate path. So for you, is it more than just even from a financial freedom standpoint? You know what I mean? Like, is it kind of like you're saying, it's brought you kind of this close knit community of people that you can connect with and talk about life's things?
Yeah, I would say that's part of it. I mean, I had good friends moving into it, but except it's just the one moved across the state, and that wasn't. It was kind of just he was having a family and settling down and stuff, and I really wasn't, and other people were hanging out with different people, so we all just kind of went our separate ways. So there was probably like a spree of like 3 years where I really just wasn't talking to anyone. And that's kind of the whole reason why I really joined, the Facebook group and then the ORAC community group, and I've met a ton of great people. a lot of people in the chat right now. I've had several conversations with personally. Yeah, so one of the things I keep saying on my channel is community is unity, and I say that because if you surround yourself with, I don't want to say like-minded people, but people that are driven towards a goal, you can bounce ideas off each other, you can push each other, and you can all work towards your each individual goals, and you're united by the strength of how you work.
I like that. Community is unity. All right. What about you, Ike? I mean, as far as would you say you spend a lot of time outside real estate with the fire guys still yet? Or I mean, like, event, hanging out with them and, on your days off and stuff like that?
I'd say it kind of varies. Sometimes during the summer, if there's a lot going on, then yeah, I'll be doing more with them. But a lot of times right now, I'm just and I kind of purposefully set it this way is like in the next past 2 and the next 3 years, like I'm just my days off, like I'm working, I'm doing other shit, like I'm not having a lot of time for relaxation. So the guys that are doing real estate or are working on side jobs and things like that, like we connect probably more than the guys that are going out every weekend and getting drunk or going out boating and all that. So
Yep, absolutely agree. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I definitely, I'm sure that, and that's why I tell guys too. It's like I can see why the guys coming in the department now, it is hard for the young guys because they're kind of expected to hang out on their days off or do certain things, right? So for me, um, having a little bit more time in the department, I understand it's easier for me to distance myself. They kind of just leave me alone already. But I still try to tell the younger guys that you still have to find time if possible to to give yourself some time to work on something else, right? You don't need to be watching Netflix all day with them, or you don't need to be watching the next Squid Game episode or whatever, right? But it's fine time to maybe start a YouTube channel, start a business, or something, right? Something on the side that you can work on, or even improve your skills of networking or whatnot, right? But I think it's just finding a time while you have that, while you're on shift for 24 hours too, right? Let's see. Andy Dickens here from school says working in public service as well. Public employment retirement system. They scare you into thinking enough is never enough. So you continue work and fund their bad decision. That is a great point. Do you see that, Ike, in your guys' fires? Like as far as retirement, if you guys ever have like those retirement classes and whatnot, and they're talking about how many years you got to work or what your retirement's going to be like?
I would say there's some of that, but for the most part, I don't think they're trying to keep people. I'd actually be happy if some people went ahead and retired. But the managers, the money managers, and the guys that are on the separate that are running on the other funds, like yeah, they definitely come in and talk about how bad everything is and how much more you have to have retired and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of funny when I first started, there was a younger guy that I started. We were kind of in the same station together, and so the older guys there kept kind of giving us the retirement talks and the deferred comp and all that. And I'm over here like I've got my beat up truck, I've got all my money just going into real estate, and they kept getting on me like you need to set up that deferred comp because retirement is going to be worse when you're 60, And I was just like, I've got my own thing. I'm working on it. And it's not paying me money right now, but I think it'll pay off in the long run. And eventually they kind of figured out that, yeah, I did actually have a plan. It wasn't just throwing money down the drain. At least hopefully it's not. But there's definitely aspects with the other guys that have been around for a bit. They keep seeing inflation and all that. And it's the pension kind of keeps up, but I would not want to be relying on that.
Yeah, I think this one's a good one for you, Jack. Trade Better says, would you guys say your views on social groups have changed in 2024 into 2025?
Um, Is he talking like Facebook and all that stuff, or just or who we hang out with more? I'll answer
Which
it both ways.
yeah, whichever
Um,
way you want to take.
I'll do it both ways. As far as social media goes, I really don't play around with Facebook anymore. I just watch a lot of shorts and listen to podcasts on YouTube anymore.
Why?
Um,
Wait. Zuckerberg is not going to be suppressing information anymore, so you can get back on Facebook. He's changing his tune.
I'm just tired of the ads. I'm just tired of the ads.
And I'm just making trouble, man.
Um, as far as social, like personally, social groups, have they changed? Um, honestly, I feel closer to people I haven't actually met in person, talking to through a computer screen, than I do the people that are, around me. The people I go to work with, I just work with. You know, there's if we have things in common outside of work, that's great. I'll hang out with some of them here and there. But even then, like I'd say the people, some of them that I used to hang out with quite often, I'm talking to and hanging out less and less because I'm really just trying to focus on this real estate. I'm really trying to get it to the finish line, try to get there as quick as I can without just completely overwhelming and destroying myself in the process and the portfolio because it doesn't mean anything if I end up losing it all. So in that aspect, I talk to other people less, kind of like Alex Hermosi, or however you pronounce his last name. He was saying that if people don't really add value to him, in some aspect, he doesn't really talk to them as much. That's kind of what I'm doing with a lot of other people outside of the real estate community in a sense because it's great hanging out and talking to them, but at the same time, if they're perfectly happy staying where they're at, and I'm not, and that's just time away that I could be picking up overtime or cooking at the club or doing other productive things like editing videos for YouTube and stuff that I could be doing instead of sitting there playing cards, you know, in a broke down building on its last legs, and they're happy running their entire lives. It's just I want to get to the finish line, so sacrifice today so I can have a future like no one else can have tomorrow.
What about you, Ike? I know, you kind of, I always mess with you, but I always call you an introvert. But like I see you on, social media a little bit more now and doing these lives and, connecting for you. I mean, has the, social groups or even social media changed for you as we're heading into 2025?
I, no, I would definitely not say 2024 was that big of a change, mindset wise, at least. There's probably more execution than I've done previously. But for me, it's kind of, I don't want to get to the finish line and then not have anybody. I don't want to get to the finish line and like not have helped anybody get there with me. I think that's kind of what I'm still trying to figure out is like how to help people, like not just the people that can help me, but also people that need help. And that's coming from somebody that like I think I am in the same boat kind of as Jack of like if somebody's not working hard, if they're not responsible, and if they're not setting goals and getting after it, like I don't usually have an interest in hanging out. I'm still trying to figure out though the aspect of like there's people that have different goals and different mindsets that can benefit me, round me out better than just only hanging out with guys that are trying to kill it because I'm still in the put in the work process. So I wouldn't say 2024 was that big of a year for mindset shift, but definitely was starting to execute more, starting to be more active, and mostly I'm being more active because I see this year and definitely next year like I'm gonna need more money. and it's not going to be able to come from banks. So that was my purpose of like, hey, okay, I'm going to get out, try to be a little bit more public, try to be telling people, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm still involved in, and this is what's been successful, and this is what I'm struggling with, because I need those connections later on. So it's still got a purpose in mind, but at the same time, it's not a big deal.
Well, my best buddy Cynthia is here, checking in from the YouTube side now, but she says something very important, I think. She said, balance is important in all aspects of our lives. Tomorrow is not promised. And she also says, looking forward to chatting in Vegas. So I think you better show up, or Cynthia is going to hunt you down. And you don't want to be on Cynthia's bad side. Yeah. So I'm her favorite, though. So you're never going to be her favorite. I'm her favorite. So. But Cynthia does make a great point, and I think it does kind of relate to what you're talking about too. Balance is important, right? Like Jack was saying, like Hormozy kind of talks about maybe only talking to people that might have value to you. But I think at the same time we kind of want some balance because we want to uplift everyone also, right? And some people just need some direction, and I think you know we can learn from people that may not be on the same path as us, or we can learn from people that aren't at the same level, or because a lot of times you only hear the success from a lot of these people after a while, right? They're so far ahead that that's all they're talking about, right? They're not talking about some of the struggles, and sometimes it's good to get that balance. And Andy, I'm not sure if you're still here. But tomorrow I'm doing a live also with Denzel. He's in Detroit. Matt Mojo Mindset, and also who just interviewed Zuber recently. And I'm also going to have Tony on. He's Fireman Flipped. I just did an interview with him, but he's in Ohio. But yeah, I think he's probably somewhere in Ohio or close, maybe close to you, Andy. So maybe check it out tomorrow. He's doing some cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, do you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about this part, or I can throw in some wrinkles. I got some X posts saved on the side, and we can talk about that, or if you guys want to keep talking about this.
Um, my biggest thing is I should be finishing up the one renovation I was working on this week.
I can talk about that because I know Ike also is working on a rehab, finishing up that. So you guys can also throw in what you guys maybe struggles, or what you guys learned, or how things are coming along.
The big thing I learned this time was I painted the unit last time and I used the wrong type of paint, so everything got scuffed up real bad and it wasn't cleanable. So I put a much better paint down this time. That's gonna be a lot cleanable and easier to use in the future. That was the eviction unit. I'll hopefully early next week be shooting the final video on it, and that will be done. I shot a video. I need to edit it. It's of the remodel units and everything that's going to happen. I think the next couple weeks I want to get all the flooring ripped out of it and kind of just start off from scratch there. Yeah, in that video I had the UV light. I was trying to figure out where all the cat smells or cat urine was, and it's just there's like one room that wasn't just covered in cat urine.
Did you know they had pets?
What was that, Ike?
Did you know that they had pets, or was that a
I
surprise?
bought the. I haven't rented it out yet. It was the place I just bought back in June,
Okay.
and I had to fix. Yeah, so I fixed it the first unit, got that one rented out. Then I was supposed to move into the second unit, but some stuff happened that never happened. So I fixed that one up and got that one rented out. And then I had the eviction at a totally different property. And since it needed a lot less work, got that one fixed up, and I'm probably going to list that one next week. And while I'm finishing up the last few things, and then I'm going to switch gears onto this other unit. Um, I kind of don't really expect to have it listed till like August. What are your thoughts on it? It has metal cabinets, but they're in really good shape. Would you guys swap out the metal cabinets, or would you put something else in? It's a Class C neighborhood, and there's other apartments in that area that don't even have cabinets at all.
How do you not have cabinets?
I don't know, but I'm not going to be that person.
What about you, Ike? What would you do since you're doing a
I
rehab right now if you're facing that situation?
Yeah, I'd probably go and check out the nearest decent apartment complex and see what they're doing. But also, if they're nice
Okay.
cabinets, like I, that's the thing. If it's a C class and you're gonna put someone else in there that might beat them up, is it like a 3 bedroom or 1 bedroom?
I can't recall if it's one. Three. Yeah, it's a three.
3. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd probably just paint them, but that's kind of me. I'm getting more and more like each rehab I do less and less major work, more of a hey, let's make it look nice, and then because I'm seeing my tenants move in and do stuff that I would have never thought someone would want to do or should do to a place, and it's like I really care as long as they're not messing up stuff. So
Yeah, they're already painted. They look nice. So I was kind of just thinking about leaving them alone and just
yeah,
moving forward. I'm going to have so much cost done in electrical, the roof, and the flooring that.
I'm
But
not.
I just
I'm
sorry. Go
not.
ahead.
No, no. I'm not sure if it says Cynthia. It could be Cynthia because she's so smart. But it could be Frank also. But it says if they are good, leave them. That's what his recommendation is, or her recommendation. It says Cynthia, but I'm not sure. So that is coming from a contractor's perspective, also possibly, right? So, yeah, I think there's no. I think that's the one thing we all realize after a while. We all kind of follow, the one rental at a time, Three Amigos, the kind of staples, Zuber, Lumberjack, Dion, Millennial Mike. And what we do realize is they all kind of have their own takes on things, right? They don't all think alike. I mean, yeah, their end goal as far as financial freedom, but even their financial freedoms are slightly different views. So I think that's the one thing we realize, right? There's no really wrong answer, I would say. A lot of it comes down to your market, your resources. I think a lot of times people don't realize how much, even like, if it's tapping into to reserves or whatnot, right? Like you're saying, you're trying to look for capital for the next deal. That has to weigh into it too, right? Is it going to cost this much money to replace these when I can get by with them for now, and then use that money for the next deal? So those are all things we gotta factor in. Wait. Wow, and we're friends. I'll have to rethink. I'm not. See, I'm not sure who's being the wise ass, and it's got to be Cynthia. But um, but Trade Better says, I'm a great facilitator of relationships. What helps you discern? Oh, no potential. I have low standards. Everyone is welcome. So that makes it easy. So
If you're a
uh,
Chicago Bears fan, you're golden with Mark.
that is very, very true. And we'll throw this up there again since you brought it up. I want to remind everyone the Bears are 1-0 this year, and the Packers are 0-2. So
low
good segue, Jack.
low
Um,
standards.
but no,
That shows how I get on here. So
no, honestly, it is you know as long as you're not a dick or whatever. I don't you could have different views, we could have different opinions, but as long as you're willing to talk about it. And even like Ike, he was on maybe about a month ago, and I think we were talking about Trump and whatnot, and we didn't see eye to eye or anything on everything, but that's good, right? Conversation and being able to talk about things and see things. So as long as you're willing to do that, I think that I welcome anyone to have a chat or whatever. I don't mind talking to anyone as long as you're going to be open and not be um, basically lie to me or backstab me or what. So yeah, I mean, um, but I think the biggest thing that I try to tell people too, and today's definitely proof, is to have people that come on and test your systems out, right? So now we know Ike needs to upgrade his mic or figure out what's going on. But yeah, because I'm still trying to figure. So I have like different cameras set up, and I'm still trying to figure out what cameras setup I like, and I think that's what I hope people come on to do, is if they want to practice talking to people and get comfortable. That's what I'm always trying to do. But hey, what's up, Hugo? Stopping by from X. Hope to see you in Vegas in a few weeks. But yeah, man. But yeah, what do you guys do? I mean, like Jack, I know your channel is growing, so you want to talk about
Yeah.
that. I mean, are you? I see you bringing a lot of people on. So what is your, I guess, criteria for guests or who you're communicating with?
Uh, if I get along with them, really, like I know, or right now I'm kind of in like having a lot of repeat people on just because, you know, lately I've been having a lot of Trade Better and Mikey on just because, well, like Trade Better and me are working on a couple series right now. We have one more video to shoot to finish that one up, and Mikey, he's always great to have on. We end up talking a lot of times, afterwards for an hour or so, off camera. But I don't know. I think honestly, if I get along with a person, I'll give anyone a chance in one episode, and if I like them, I'll invite them back on. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, and sometimes I something was about them, and I just don't invite them back.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
mean,
sometimes they don't like my potato hats.
yeah, like you said, you kind of just find people you connect with also, but at the same time, and I'm sure Ike will agree with this, being in the firehouse, you're gonna have different personalities. You have to be able to communicate with, work with. I mean, you don't always have that choice of who's on your crew, right? I mean, and it's just the way of life, and I think that's also what's part of being a first responder is even going to calls, right? I mean, you have to communicate with patients sometimes, and sometimes you got to figure out what's the best way to communicate with people. So would you agree with that, Ike?
Yeah, it always there's just certain people that you're like, hey, I should have got along with them, and we didn't click. And then there's other people that you like meet, and you're like, I would not have expected to get along with them, and you form a really good relationship. So really depends on, I think, how you meet them and what you end up building your similarities with.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I think even with I think if you do make it to Vegas, like, oh, Jack, this should be your first time too. But I think that's one thing you'll notice at the ORAD event. I mean, everyone there is super friendly. At the same time, it's just normal. You're gonna kind of find little groups kind of forming, right? Little pockets forming, and I think that's just normal, right? People are going to kind of click a little bit to maybe certain interests or what they're doing. um Cynthia says, have a good one, chat later. Oh yeah, everyone, tune in after Zuber's daily financial news. Come back. I'm sure, I don't know if it started or finished, but come back after. But yeah, I'm gonna pivot real quick. I'm gonna throw this up there and see what you guys think. So I don't even know which one I'm gonna. So, so read this. The old American dream: graduate from college, buy a house, have 2 to 3 kids, retire at 65 with a pension. And then the new American dream is like time freedom. So kind of what's your guys' thoughts on that? Because you guys, so Ike, how old are you? Ike, Jack, how old are you guys again? You guys are much younger, I believe.
Early 30s.
Yeah. So do you guys vision? I mean, what's your guys' American dream? I guess do you guys have that same vision? Because that's what I grew up on, right? Work 30 years, have a pension, work to 65. Was that kind of what you guys were brought up on?
I think my dad would have liked,
I
like, he would have gone that way. Like, he would have tried to raise me that way. That was the thought. You graduate high school, you go to college, you get married, have kids, and you retire when you're in your 60s. Yeah, but that's not really ever something I wanted to do because I couldn't sit in front of a computer desk. That's how I thought you made money, was doing some kind of office job. And I also don't like working outside when it's 100 degrees. So for me, it was definitely I wanted freedom, and I wanted the ability to travel and do what I wanted. And in my job, I can't travel as much right now because of my schedule, but it still gives me quite a bit of freedom.
Yeah, I agree with Ike. I mean, me and Cynthia, we're always talking about like our goal is to eventually kind of have like three homes that we can kind of bounce between to visit different parts of the country and different times of the year. And we're going to build like a camper van to travel in between them all and bounce to different things that we wanted to see and stuff. I'm not sure how we're going to get the van to Hawaii though.
Good luck with that, man. I might not be here when you come though. Mikey might be. Mikey be in Japan.
You know what's funny is I was looking at different places last night. I was just daydreaming because I was doing a different position yesterday that isn't so labor intensive. And I was looking at these multi or different houses out west and stuff, and looking at the scenery, trying to get an idea of something I would potentially maybe want someday, just daydreaming. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, I wonder what is actually would make myself happier. Something like this in the States, with rolling hills that lead up to a giant mountainside in the background, or a house in the country of Japan. But then I really don't think I'm going to fit in there and just insult everyone.
Wha- I don't think you'll insult. It's a very polite country, right? So they're very accepting, and I don't think you're gonna. I mean, you might get some weird looks. I agree with that. I mean, but you already get weird looks here. So, but I think like I said, I think you just want to have the options, right? I think
Yeah,
it's just a matter of giving yourself options, and you may find a certain place, right? Like I'm sure Dion, that's kind of what he's doing with all his traveling too, right? I mean, I'm sure there may be a place that he goes to and say, oh, okay, this is where I'm probably going to spend majority of my time, right? At a certain point, once he kind of maybe does his overall traveling and traveling to all these different places, then there might be one place where he's kind of, oh, I'm probably settle here for the most part, right? And I think, and I think, but like we keep touching on it, it's just having options, right? Like unfortunate stuff going on in California with the wildfires and everything. But I think, you know, people might be looking at their situation and considering relocating or moving, right? California has been a great place and a lot of people love it and it's great weather and a lot of great things. But at a certain point, if certain things are you can maybe see that it heading a certain direction. You just want to have that freedom to have that option to maybe move to a certain place that maybe aligns with what your visions are, or kind of your interests or hobbies, I guess, in a sense, right? So that's all you really want, and I think that's what we're all working for here. Yeah. All right. So I mean, for me, I don't want to take up I want you guys to talk, but I don't want to take. But for me, basically, yeah. I mean, I think the American dream has changed quite a bit, right? I mean, I think that's the one thing that I notice is a lot of people, um, even like traveling, right? I see a lot of people like the younger guys at my station. They're willing to, I guess, maybe give up some financial security or whatnot because they feel like they should be traveling, or they feel they should have the new car, they feel they should have these enjoyments in life, right? They know, like, because when I look at it, my parents, maybe they're a little bit different, but they didn't travel quite a bit, right? They weren't taking these Vegas trips every year, or they weren't traveling all over the place. So I think that's a big change also, right? So people's views on things are a little bit different. Do you guys see that in your guys' kind of areas and stuff?
I think it's just nationwide. I mean, there's tons of articles that saying that the younger Gen X's and the millennials and whatever this newer one is, that they're spending more time traveling than anything else. And they're focusing more on what is it, the experiences. And that's even who was it, the CEO of Delta was even saying the same thing, that they're expecting 2025 to be their best year, and I forget how many years, like a decade or something like that. That more people are focused on experiences now than they are, stuff. And that's why, honestly, I feel like that Zuber is on to something when he says that builders need to focus on smaller houses, because they not everyone wants their McMansions and all that kind of stuff, because people want to travel and all that kind of stuff. So you don't always need to have the biggest and best house on the block.
Yeah, we got the young Kyle, blue collar landlord, stopping by. But he says, yeah, can't relate to the travel and experiences. And I think so. For Kyle, who, like I said, he's in the kind of the trades, blue collar, and he can't relate to travel. I mean, I think that is what's going to even propel him further and faster to financial freedom. I believe he's probably maybe late 20s, or I don't know, mid 20s. But at the rate he's going, I mean, I think financial freedom is like right around the corner, for him, in a sense, right? Starting such a young age, being in the trades, like I think that's a great field. Zuber talks about it. I think that's where a lot of the higher paying jobs are going to start leading towards. And California is going to have a construction boom, probably, for a while too. So these are all things that people got to start looking at it, if they want that financial freedom. And we're not saying that's the only path, right? I mean, some people, working to 65, 70 is the best way for them, right? I mean, I don't not everyone wants to put that grind in, and like they said, they want to do that travel, vacation, and do that every year. But yeah, what's your thoughts on like the trades, Ike, as far as I mean, do you see that as the booming industry, you think?
Oh, for sure. As far as especially pay goes, like AI is going to take out, I think, a lot of office shit, but AI is not going to be able to get under your crawl space and figure out what's going on with your sewer line, or why your power is flickering in one end of the house and not the other. So I think they can assist, but they're not going to replace blue collar. And nobody my age, and especially younger than me, really likes to go into the blue collar anymore. So I think there's a ton of opportunity. To the original point though about like the American dream and all that, I think part of it is social media and what we perceive as life out there anymore. We were started this off talking about relationships, and it used to be you knew about life of other people just based on the relationships of those around you. Whereas now you can be, somebody that never talks to anybody else, just looks at TikTok, and you could have a very false sense that everybody else is traveling, eating, drinking, and having a great time. But all we do is post our highlights. I don't post a video of the day that I spent 8 hours in a crawl space trying to figure out how to get a stupid drain tub to work. But I do post a video of the finished house project where it looks all nice and pretty and amazing. Like I'll post that sort of shit. So I think the perception out there, even for those of us that know it's not real, it still kind of creeps in of like, hey, this is what's going on. Is everybody else is having this great time. Everybody else is traveling. Everybody else is having these experiences, and that's not necessarily true. So
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I mean we're almost at about an hour. I don't like to keep people too long. I mean, I got nothing to do right now, so I don't mind sticking around. So if you guys gotta go, you guys can always just bounce or let me know. But we can do this a little bit longer. But I think Ike, that was a great segue to this next I guess X post that I saw by Chris Williamson. It says, "Stop complaining about results you didn't get from work you didn't put in." So I think that was kind of what you're touching on too, right? A lot of people see certain things on social media and they think this is, what they're supposed to be doing and traveling and enjoying life. But then they, at some point they're like, hey, how come I can't retire? Or how come, someone's retiring at 50 and I'm still working another 20 or possibly working another 20 years, right? So it's kind of like you're saying, good and bad on social media, right? Sometimes people are getting caught up in seeing only people's wins, and then sometimes people aren't seeing the work that people are putting in, right?
right,
I think that's a thing about most of these uh, TikTokers or these people. They don't. They do a poor job of showing what it takes to get to that point. They want to just show the highlight reel, and they're not showing the 20 years that took to be on top. And so it's easy for people to get like an entitled feel, thinking that it's easy, but if they would watch, any real channel that shows you what it takes to get there, they're not going to want to do it. And then those are the same people are still going to, even if they were involved, they'll be complaining about it being too hard. That they're most of these people aren't going to even try to better themselves. They just kind of want to complain.
Yeah, trade better. Kind of touching on this, he says, would you say that the new keeping up with the Joneses is now travel for social media? The big screen TV no longer matters to brag about. I
yeah, I would,
absolutely think so. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
would say
yeah, that
like
makes
my
sense.
generation especially, we've we've got all the stuff. We were raised with the stuff. Um, for us, it's about not so much collecting things because we see the stuff we're gonna have to clean out of our parents' basements, and we're not trying to collect a whole bunch of stuff, but we definitely, there's something about posting online. Hey, I was just doing this really cool thing, and everybody else is kind of like, oh, that's really cool, and you get that satisfaction of saying, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm like a special person. Um,
That's funny you mentioned that too. I mean, like I said, touching on the wildfires in California, I heard somebody kind of say like this, situation almost brings to light kind of this might be the last generation that would be trying to save photo albums, right? Like you're touching, this nowadays people don't really have they don't really have as much stuff in a sense, right? I mean, they have experiences. I mean, that's what people are trying. They're traveling and everything's on their phone. Their photos are all backed up on their phone or whatnot. So it's like these fires are happening. A lot of these people, you're hearing that they're running and trying to throw stuff in their vehicles, throw in photo albums and picture frames and all these things. And I'm not sure if this something like this were to happen, 10, 15 years from now, would, people would just grab their phone and they could just take off probably, right? And I think it's a lot different around this generation. Kyle says, say that's a good point. I'm not as much into material aspects. I'd rather eventually travel. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you know what? I was gonna say when Trey Better mentioned big screen TV though. Do you guys? I don't know because I feel like most people just watch like on their device. They're willing to just watch on their phone or iPad or something. So I don't even know if like big screen is that still that much of a thing. I don't know.
I think it is for some people. I know a couple people at work were talking last night about he's they're planning on moving and they're gonna get an 85-inch television set, which I didn't know that they even made them that big. But I know for like me and Cynthia, we haven't had a TV actually in the house in this house that she's doing a live and flip more or less. Well, to rent it back out that she's living in right now. We haven't had a TV in the 2 years that we've been here because we always end up either watching something on the computer or our tablets or even our phone. It's just more or less a wall decoration.
They're also not that expensive anymore. Like you can get a decent one off the Facebook Marketplace for a couple hundred, even less. So they're not quite as
Hmm.
much of a big purchase as I think they used to be.
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, I think you know, or people just or people just buy it at Costco for like Super Bowl and then return it after. But then I also saw somewhere, right? I don't know if Costco's implementing it, but that is something for 2025, right? There's a lot of companies that are implementing return fees now because I guess they lost so much revenue or so much money last year on people returning items that companies are starting to implement some sort of return fee to balance out their losses, I believe. Um,
Yeah, I saw a video
but
a couple weeks ago of a Costco line with everybody with a Christmas tree in their cart returning
yeah,
things.
it's
It's like I don't know how you do that, but not
yeah,
much
it's
yet.
yeah, exactly. My dad returns so much shit at Ross's. I mean, but I do understand because I mean I've talked about it. My dad's kind of paralyzed from a stroke many years ago, so I think a lot of times he buys things because he can't, so he'll buy like a lot of electronic stuff, but it's like he can't really determine if that's the right one. Like if it's a cord or something that has to plug into his phone, or he's not really sure. So it's like he'll just grab like 10 of them and then come home to try and figure out which is the one that's gonna work for him.
That's
And then
very
he
different.
goes and returns the other. No,
Especially if you're
yeah,
just using it for 30 days and then returning it after the holidays.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying he returns so much shit at Costco. I mean, at Ross, it's funny. Like we go, I mean, but sometimes we go there too, and he returns it, and it's like like 2.99. I get it, but I mean, I'm just like, man. But
Yeah,
let's
I'm gonna have
see.
around.
You see your mic cut out. What'd you say?
I'm gonna have around. So
All right, man. If you gotta
I'll
bounce and
work again.
dude, you need a new mic. Go here. Go look up this brand, Hollyland. I'm testing this out right now. So even you, Jack, this is a great mic to use. Hollyland mic. This is what I'm wearing right now. It's a small mic that you can plug into your phone. I plugged it into my mini Mac M4. So I'm testing that one out right now. So
Does
um
it have like background noise?
it's supposed to have noise cancellation on it.
That's what I was
So
trying to think of. Yeah.
yeah. So if you think my mic worked well today, I would check it out. So yeah, it's Hollyland. I'm not sponsored by. I was gonna try it out. So it's good. I like it.
Yeah, that first mic I used was a complete disaster. It made me sound like a 1920s horse track announcer.
Andy Dickens says yes. Earlier generations wanted material possessions so it could be passed it down. New eras want to be seen. Yeah, very very true. Well, I don't know. You want to talk about anything else, Jack? I think this was a good one. We're a little bit over an hour. I probably got about 5 to 10 more minutes if you want to keep chatting. But anything on your mind? Anything with Vegas you want to talk about or whatever's?
I'm free to hang out for a few more minutes. We can talk about people's comments and stuff. I know I'm pretty excited about Vegas. Looking forward to meeting everyone.
Yeah, I believe Andy's gonna be there. I know he just posted something in school, or maybe he commented on school on the ORAT event accommodations. I haven't had a chance to check it out. But if anyone is here, I think there's a group of us going to be staying at the downtown Grand. So I'd say that there was their version of show. I'm assuming you meant showing off, Kyle. Your generation is not very good at spelling, probably, but no, I'm sure you're just type. But I believe you're trying to say showing off. But yeah, Kyle, I forget. I don't know if you're going to be in Vegas. I forget. You might go to Coach Carson's thing. I believe you said. I know Coach Carson's having something in early February, so that's where a lot of people are kind of on the fence on which one they're going to go to. But yeah, if you are going to go into Vegas, a lot of you, I think a lot of us are going to be at the downtown Grand. So yeah, come check us out over there. But Vegas should be fun. I forget, Jack, did you buy VIP tickets?
No,
No? You're going to be with
no.
the what? Are
Well,
you?
I just remembered. So I bought the regular one because I thought you said before that the people were mostly walking around.
Hey, don't say me. Don't get me in trouble.
So I just bought the regular one.
You just threw me under the bus. I can't believe you did that on live TV, live internet. No, I mean, either way, you people will have a good time. I think it's just a matter of, um, I guess what you're looking for. I think the VIP is great. It's just you're gonna. I mean, well, like I said, last year you had a lot of opportunity to talk to those people anyways, right? So,
Mhm.
it's going to be a good time no matter what. Trey Better says the Costco folks told me that people buy clothes then return at the change of the season. They think they are gaming the system. Oh, yeah. You know, I get it, and I think it's just what game you want to play, right? You know, I,
So I used to work at Walmart a long time ago up in customer service, or I was a supervisor up there. I had someone that tried to return a half-eaten birthday cake.
it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of strange things that go on nowadays, and I think yeah. Hey, Hugo's back now. He's from YouTube. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. See you in Vegas. But um, yeah, I think it is gaming the system, but at the same time, I think some people, it's funny, right? I mean, I think that's just the game that they want to play, or maybe they enjoy, and they think they're winning, right? And I think what we're surrounding ourselves with is people that are trying to play a different game and win in a different way, so that they don't have to play this other gaming system in a sense of trying to buy things and then return them and think that's how they're getting ahead, right? I think the circle that we're trying to be around or follow is, whether it's stocks or crypto or real estate or starting a business, people are trying to win in a different matter so that they don't have to play that game of trying to return things to get ahead, right? So I think that's a great point Harrison's making.
I um I know like someone I used to talk to, he was also a real estate investor. He kind of played that game a little bit with Section 8 and stuff. So Section 8 would, like for example, he'd have a tenant and they would like smash a door, for example, or break a fridge, and Section 8 would pay to have it replaced. But then he, as a contractor and stuff, would uh would then go on Facebook Marketplace, find the cheapest door, and install it himself, and pocket the rest of the money. And I'm just thinking to myself, I would not want to waste that much of my time because he would spend like a week trying to find the right door, and then spend 3 days installing the door. And it's just I would not want to waste my time trying to do all that extra work. I'd rather make 2 phone calls and be done with it.
Absolutely, yeah. Least amount of work. Kobe, EXP agent, says, was the half-eaten birthday cake accepted as a returnable item?
I called the managers up, and I'm pretty sure that they did accept it.
And that's Trey Better says, it is amazing what they take. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they stuck it back in the employees' break room, and
Yeah. Trey Better says, can't wait for the grand. Oh, Kobe, I don't know if you were here earlier, but here, check this out real quick. Just want to remind people again, the Bears are 1-0 in 2025. The Packers are 0-2. But I wish Joe V was here for that. Oh, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle can't say shit because he's a Raiders fan. He was hiding that from me for how long. Now I know. Now he can't say anything about football. But what were we saying? Hey, hey, Trey Better, knock it off. Uh, Trey Better's asking if I'm doing the VIP. Uh, well, let's just say I haven't bought my ticket yet. I'll buy it today. I bought my
uh,
plane ticket though, so don't worry. I'll be there. I bought my plane ticket and my hotel reservations. Kobe's gonna be there. Kobe bought his event reservation, so that should be fun. So if anybody wants to know more about EXP and the benefits, get with me and Kobe in Vegas, and then we can discuss and figure out how you guys can start generating some uh, revenue share, passive income streams on the side. Um,
is it easier than starting your own brokerage and stuff?
in a sense, yeah. I mean, because you're kind of your own brokerage in a sense, right? So you don't have all that overhead costs. A lot of times that's the old school model of starting a brokerage and having all this liability and getting brick and mortar locations and whatnot. So the EXP model is kind of all uh, don't worry, I'm making sure everyone has tickets, Kobe. Yeah, don't worry. But yeah, so it's all the benefits with basically less of the headaches. Yeah. And so but yeah, I don't know, anything else you want to talk about, Jack? Do you want to talk about your idol or your fan didn't stop by today, the one asking
Um,
about the potato hat guy, but definitely we did not have as much viewers tune in because Lauren's not here. Apparently when Lauren shows up we get quite a bit more viewership, um, but it's always fun, man. Ike might have lost me a few subscribers with his audio, so we got to get Ike a new mic. Um, but yeah, if like I said, if anyone's looking for one, I would check out Hollyland. I'm very impressed with their products. They are a little bit on the pricier side, but I think they seem to work the best as far as if you want like kind of a mobile type of mic. And I kind of been testing that out because as you see, I don't have the big mic anymore. I don't mind the big mic. It's in the way. So that's kind of why I've been testing out some other options. But yeah, if anybody has any more questions or comments, put it in the chat before you wrap it up. But Jack, you got any final words?
just thank you for having me on again. It's always a blast coming on, hanging out with you guys for a little bit.
And want you remind everyone your channel's name and where can they check you out?
Jack's Business Talk, and the best place is on YouTube. That's where almost all the content goes. And I sometimes put things on X.
And there's his link for his channel. And apparently we've been goofing around, but we found out that maybe if you do it from your phone, you're not able to click on the link. Seems like some people are having trouble clicking on links from their mobile device. But maybe that's just if you don't have an iPhone. So I don't think Frank's here, so he won't be too insulted when I say that. But yeah, you're doing some cool stuff, man. I like what you're doing. I like all the kind of shorts and smaller content you're putting out there. And yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by. And like I said, I'll be here tomorrow, same time with Denzel, who's an EXP agent also. He's in Detroit. Tony Fireman Flip on Instagram. He's a firefighter doing real estate in Ohio. And Matt Mojo Mindset, who actually just did an interview with Zuber. So that was interesting. But yeah, check us out tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, same place. And thanks for tuning in.